In this section, we're going to take a look at what is known as the collections module. Now, the collections module in Python provides us with different types of containers, where a container is an object that is used to store different objects, and it provides us a way to access the contained objects and iterate over them. So if you think of some of the built-in containers, we have tuples, we have lists, we have dictionaries, and so on. The collections module simply expands on some of the containers that we've seen previously. And the first few containers we're going to be taking a look at in this section are subclasses of the dictionary. If you need a refresher on how dictionary data structures work and how we can use them, feel free to revisit the dictionary section, as it's assumed in this section you understand dictionaries to a reasonable level. And the first container we're going to take a look at is known as the counter container. Now, the counter container is used to keep the count of the elements in an iterable in the form of an unordered dictionary, where the key represents the element in the iterable and the value represents the count of that element in the iterable. So let me run through a simple example. We first of all need to import the counter container, so we can put from collections import counter. And to create a counter container, all we need to do is call upon the counter class and then put parentheses. We're now able to create a counter container by passing in, for example, a sequence of items. So we'll first of all pass in a list of items, and this list will simply be the letters A, B and C numerous times. So we'll put B, B, A, B, C, A, B, B, A and C. So we have 3 elements in total, A, B and C, with each of them having a different count. If I now print out what's stored in the count variable, you can see that we print out the counter object, and inside the parentheses we have an unordered dictionary telling us that we have 5 Bs, 3 As and 2 Cs. So each element has been counted and is then presented in our counter container. Now here we've passed in a list to a call on the counter class, but we can also pass in a dictionary. So if I were to create a variable called count2 and set this equal to counter with parentheses, then pass in a dictionary where the first key is A with an associated value of 3, the second key is B with an associated value of 5, and the third key is C with an associated value of 2. When I then print out what's stored in count2, you can see that we once again print out a counter object telling us the count of each element. And a final way we can create this is by passing in keyword arguments. So if we create a variable called count3 and set this equal to a call on the counter class, and in parentheses we pass in keyword arguments. So if we were to put A equals 3, B equals 5, and C equals 2, when I then print what's stored in count3, we get the same counter object returned. Now the great thing about these counter containers is that we can add to them. So if I were to create a variable called count4 and set this equal to an empty counter container simply by putting a call on the counter class and passing nothing into parentheses, if I then take this list that I've passed in up here and set this equal to a variable called my_list, I can then call upon count4 and then access the update method by putting .update and then in parentheses passing in the sequence. So if I pass in my_list into parentheses and then print out what's stored in count4, you can see that we've added the count of B, A and C to our counter container. If I were to copy and paste this code again and then rerun this code cell, you can now see that we've doubled the count associated with each element in the dictionary. And to access the values associated with a key, it's the same as if you were working with a normal dictionary. So if I place the object name count4, then open up square brackets and pass in the key that we want to access the value of, so in this example if I pass in B and then run this code cell, you can see that we return 10 to the screen, which is the value associated with the key B. So a very useful container if ever you need to count items and store them in a dictionary-like object. In the next video, we'll take a look at our second container from the collections module known as ordered dict. So I'll see you in the next video.